Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Joining B.J. Rains today is KTVB Sports Director Jay Tust. Check him out on Twitter at KTVB Sports Guy and make sure to check out KTVB.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktails Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's Jay Tust and B.J. Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, what's going on, Boise State fans? Happy Tuesday to you. Welcome to a new week, Air Force Week, here at Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com. No show yesterday. Gave John Mallory the day off as I was traveling back from seeing my family, but back in the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios and ready to roll here on a Tuesday edition of Bronco Nation News Live. We got the sports director over at KTVB, Jay Tust. We've given him a few days. The real reason was he needed an extra day to get over the end of the season for the Mariners. But Jay's here for his regular Tuesday segment. How's it going, Jay?
It's a hell of a ride for the M's. Hell of a ride. We just ran into a really good Houston team who is, they got as good a chance as anybody to go win this thing. So it is what it is. We're good. Back from the bye, a little rested up and ready for the home stretch of the season. Only 6 more games left. It's crazy how it just kind of creeps by, and then all of a sudden you're in the home stretch of the season.
It is pretty crazy. Yeah, Jordan noticing we did add Golly Guy to the intro there at the end. We are working on the intro even more. You heard Jay Tust getting a personal shout out there by our sound guy. Thank you to JP over at KTIK for getting that put together. And there will be a even more of a Jay Tust themed intro coming here in the near future. So it'll be we're working on that, Jay. We appreciate you coming on. Jordan wants the Row Paint background music as a ringback. So when I answer the phone, the people calling me are hyped. Yeah, it is kind of a nice little song there from Row Paint. So we appreciate them as always. Our title sponsor, rowpaint.com, the official paint coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Make sure you check them out at roepaint.com for all of your painting needs. And Jay, we talked to Andy Avalos. There was no media during the bye week. I know you had to obviously cover high schools and a lot of other stuff, but some of us took a few days off and recharged. And the bye week, there was no media for football. We talked to Coach Rice last Friday, talked a little basketball. They got the big scrimmage coming up on Saturday up in Eugene against Oregon. But back at it with Air Force Week this week. And Coach Avalos and Dirk Koetter, Spencer Danielson all met with the media yesterday to kind of preview the game. And I thought there were a lot of interesting takeaways from that. First of all, I think it's hilarious that Dirk Koetter just admits, like, yeah, I'm doing this for 2 months and then I'm getting the F out of here. Like, he basically just, I kind of noticed this a couple weeks ago. They had a recruit in town and the entire staff was in the photo except for Dirk Koetter. Like, he just doesn't care about recruiting. He said yesterday he has no involvement in recruiting whatsoever. The rest of the staff Friday and Saturday went out like to California and Texas and all over the place to go recruiting. And Dirk went to McCall for the weekend to go golfing. Like, he's literally just coaching the offense and coaching Taylon Green and calling the plays till whenever the season ends, and he's thinking about nothing else. And so now he is all in. He seems like he's focused. He's all in. It's not like he's, working 3 hours and going golfing in the afternoon. I mean, he is all in for these 2 months, but it's nothing other than the rest of this season. And I just kind of found that hilarious the way he just openly said, yeah, they went recruiting and I went and played golf.
Well, this probably speaks to the talents of Dirk Koetter, right? But it's so funny because we always hear about, team building and chemistry and all this stuff. And Dirk walks in and he's like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I still don't know a lot of guys on the team. I'll see a defensive player out at practice and I'll be like, hey, there's 54. I'll see him in the building without his jersey on. I'll be like, I don't know who you are. So it's just kind of funny to hear him be transparent, honest with stuff like that. And it shouldn't diminish the situation. I think that they were very specific with Dirk with what they wanted and needed out of him. Recruiting is not one of those things. They're trying to probably minimize his responsibility because he has taken on quite a bit of a commitment to try to help this Boise State football team get right. It's absolutely working so far. And so I just think the refreshing thing about it is just to hear how transparent and honest he is about all this. Like you said, coaches are out recruiting. He says, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go golfing in McCall for the weekend. Again, I think it's funny that I already said about him not really knowing all the players on the team. Like he's doing what is asked of him very specifically, and he's doing a very good job at it so far, BJ.
Yeah, and I do think it's kind of cool too that he kind of like, during his last year with the Falcons, he may not have known if he was going to retire, or he may not have known what was next, if he'd be back, what would happen. But it seems like, and I kind of wrote about this a week or two ago when we first talked to him, his coaching swan song, so to speak. Like he knows he's done in 2 months. He's doing this to help out his kid. He's doing this to kind of finish his career in a way where it started, so to speak, or at least back where he was, head coach for the first time here at Boise State, 98 to 2000. I think he just kind of is soaking it in. And he's kind of like, hey, I'm back, but I'm done in 2 months. And I think that he's kind of recognizes that this is the end, but by no means is he half-assing it or not. He's all in. And when you hear him talk, man, the guy clearly knows what he's talking about. But he's talking about, last time, oh, well, if I had more time, I would have changed all this stuff with Taylon Green and done this and that. But he's like, you know what? We got 2 months. We got 4 days till the Air Force game. I'm going to do whatever I can to try to help win this game Saturday. I'm going to try to win the game next week. I'm going to get to the end of the season, and then I'm back to my boat in McCall with my, stogie and my scotch. I mean, he's just that's just the way it is, and I think it's.
Is he a stogie and scotch guy?
I probably not. I think he said Coors. I think he said Coors Light. He's a Cutwater canned cocktail guy. That's what he is. But no, I think that he. It's just refreshing to hear him like openly admit like. And you just think about it like, yeah, he's here and he's giving it his all, and he wants his kid to have a good finish to the season. He wants to help out Andy. But then he said he's, then I'm done. And so I kind of heard him as he was walking off, Jay. He said he shot pretty well.
Yeah, he said his golf game hasn't fallen off. So he said he shot good and had a good round or whatever, however many he played in McCall. So it's nice to see that his golf game's not falling off because he's probably definitely earned his handicap so far for that.
What do you make of what we heard from him and Andy talking about just how they used the bye week offensively? They talked about, went back with Taylon Green and watched every throw he's made in the 3 games that he's played significant snaps in.
So 28.
So there you go. Yeah. Well, it was a pretty quick cut up. Yeah. But, or all the plays, I guess he had played in would be maybe a better way because some of the decisions on the read option, things like that. But it sounds like they went back and looked at it all. And then he said Dirk said he does a lot of asking Taylon questions, letting Taylon talk about what do you like, what concepts make you feel comfortable, what do you think your strengths are, what did you see here? And then they kind of went out there on the practice field and kind of focused on a couple passing concepts that they feel they're going to keep for the rest of the season, tried to maybe simplify things. It sounds like condense the playbook a little bit to what Taylon likes, what they think works, and kind of go from here. But what do you make of how they use that bye week to try to continue to build that relationship?
I think my biggest takeaway from yesterday, whether it be Taylon or more honestly, probably the ground game, it's so interesting to me to hear them kind of explain how they've simplified. And, forever, there was this talk of simplifying things on offense and all that stuff, but we never really were given an example of what that means. And yesterday, Dirk, he gave us a better example of what they're talking about. I know after the San Diego State game, he said, they leaned on the same 5 plays in the second half, and San Diego State couldn't stop them. So they just continued to run those 5 plays. I still don't know if they were literally only running 5 plays. I doubt that, but for the most part, they were leaning on that as the staple of their offense. And to hear them talk about their success in the ground game and why they've had it, that was just very fascinating to me yesterday, especially how Dirk roped in his NFL experience and related it to what's going on now. And he brought up the fact that, when he would call a play in the NFL, it'd be a run play in the first quarter and it wouldn't work. And so he would scrap that play for the rest of the game. And as he got a little older, he kind of learned like Maurice Jones-Drew is a really good running back. And sometimes if he sees things 2-3 times, he actually gets better at it with the, just by seeing that look or calling that same run play. He just feels it out better. And so by not recalling an unsuccessful run play later in the game, he said that, that was a mistake sometimes. And that's what we're seeing out of the Boise State football team right now. They have really simplified things up front in terms of what, not necessarily what they're doing, but maybe how much they're doing or what they're calling. And, if a run play doesn't work or if it does work, they're not afraid to go back to it again and let both the offensive line and the running back see it, feel it, and try to, get after it again. And it's really, really working so far.
And pretty high praise from Dirk Koetter as well, as you mentioned, talking about Maurice Jones-Drew. I mean, a Pro Bowler in the NFL, I believe. I mean, that's a guy that he was the offensive coordinator there with Jacksonville, and he had Fred Taylor as well. You mentioned. I mean, I know it's not the same, but he did kind of put some comparisons there. And I think you asked a couple of the questions about just that balance between, how you go from one guy to the next and how do you divvy up the carries and that kind of stuff. And it sounds like Keith Boniface really has most of that call. And so I think the one thing is sometimes when a guy goes in, you have to tailor plays to him. But it sounds like Boniface can just throw out whoever he wants and Koetter can call the same plays.
Right. I think the whole thing about this, BJ, is my biggest takeaway is success isn't complicated, or it doesn't have to be complicated, right? Like just because they're finding success on offense, you're like, man, they must be dialing stuff up. This must be different. It's really not. It's leaning on your foundation or whatever that is finding them their success. And I asked about like the running back rotation and how they found this balance and stuff like that. And I thought there'd be some cool story about, oh yeah, we watch, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in Cleveland. And like, we just, the way they balance that out is just beautiful. So we just tried to do that here. No, it's not like that at all. It's like, if a guy's tired, he comes out. If a guy's fresh, he stays in. If Keith Boniface says this guy's better at this, he goes in to run that play. Like, I mean, it's not overly complicated. And I'm glad you brought up KB's name, because that is a guy that his name continues to come up when it comes to the success of their ground game. And I don't know why it was so tough to establish that rhythm early in the season, but man, have they effortlessly found a rhythm between those running backs and their usage over these last 2 weeks.
Okay, Bro Chill, who's a recent subscriber, by the way. Appreciate you, man. He says he saved the day twice. He can't do much more than that. Talking about Koetter. It's an affirmation to himself that retirement is the correct decision. Go Koetter. He did mention the grind, man. I mean, it sounds like having to stay there till 10, 11 o'clock watching film and stuff like that is not exactly his favorite part of the job anymore.
Well, because he's earned the right to not do it, right, BJ?
But if he's going to be here, if you're going to be here, you got to be all in. I mean, he can't going home at 3 o'clock. I mean, if you're going to be the OC for the rest of the season, you got to give it all. And it does sound like he's doing that even reluctantly a little bit, because he mentioned he loves practice and he loves the games, but he doesn't really like the other stuff. Yeah,
but I mean, that's also the difference between the NFL and college, right? I mean, that's why like there are guys that go into the NFL and just don't come back to college. Yep. I don't even want to bring up Kellen right now, but just like in the NFL, it's all ball. And when the season ends, you probably get a couple months off to, recharge or go on vacation with your family. You're not regular season over, bowl game, sprint to recruit in, before the deadline. And then after the deadline, you have like, I don't know, a couple of weeks before fall or before spring camp begins. Like it's much more of a, I'm not going to say it's much more of a grind in college because there's high stakes in the NFL, but it's just there are different things that you have to do in college. And I can understand why being in the NFL for so long, semi-retiring there before coming out to do this, I can understand why the grind can well be a grind. And I just think it's cool in the sense that, as you kind of alluded to earlier, BJ, like I think that he knows for sure this is his final couple months of coaching football. And after this, it will be back to Coors Lights in the Loge box and just trying to be a fan. And when the Broncos go on a road, you're just sitting on your couch, casually watching a game. So yeah, it's been cool to see though, and that can't be underestimated. This is a special thing that's going on right now. Dirk has definitely taken his legacy to a whole new level, in my opinion, despite the fact he was very, very successful as a head coach at Boise State. But that was 2 decades ago. And for him to show that he's willing to do this, man, I don't know if it's going too far, but that guy's got to be earning him probably a plaque in that Boise State Hall of Fame right now.
Well, he's certainly, if they can keep winning. I mean, 2-0 now is the OC, and if they can keep winning, that will only strengthen his legacy here down the stretch to finish it. But, as you kind of spin it forward, I mean, there was some talk about, there was a question to Andy Avalos about, what is your timetable for the OC? I mean, do you have a list already? Are you quietly is he behind the scenes kind of talking to people, doing interviews? I mean, probably yes. But in terms of what happens with the position moving forward, he said he would like to have the person in play by signing day. Vlad chimes in here. I hope Koetter has some say or provides some guidance with his eventual replacement. We could use a Koetter clone. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I will say this though quickly, Jay. It did sound like the way he phrased it, that the next OC might already be on the staff.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to read through all that. That wouldn't shock me. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And I think that either way, Andy said this a number of times the last few weeks that he's definitely learned. He's grown. He's learned. He's a different head coach now than what he was before all this happened. And so I think that he's going to be much more connected to this decision. He's going to own it and whatnot, because he has to. And we saw how important this decision can be. It's not about just personality. It is about scheme and connection and everything. And, this is a interesting time for all this to come up, because they're taking on an Air Force team where I know that every week you have to play complementary football. I get that, but sometimes I also think that that's coach speak, because sometimes you can get by with your offense carrying the day or your defense winning the day or whatever it is. Against Air Force, if your offense doesn't pick up first downs, it is going to be a very long day for your defense. And ultimately that's probably going to, really favor Air Force. So it's complimentary football this weekend. When they make that hire, it has to be complimentary. But I wanted to go back to the beginning of that question, BJ, because it got a good chuckle out of everybody. Mike Prater asked it, and Andy just looks at him and goes, I'm not going to answer that, Mike.
Well, I think he took the question a little differently. In fact, the secondary question, the follow-up is what we were all wondering. Like, what is kind of your timetable? How are you going about that position? And Andy, he's focused. I was just trying
to find the comedy in that, because it was just funny. And Mike wasn't literally asking him who he's hiring as offensive coordinator. He was just going to try to get some information out of Andy, and eventually it did, and it was a great question. It was a great topic to talk about, no doubt. And I just thought that it was there's not always comedy in press conferences, so something can lighten the room for a moment. That was one of those moments, and the other one was probably when Andy brought up the fact that he almost played running back in college. So, but yeah, we'll see how that offensive coordinator position goes. It's a very, very important hire. It sounds like it's going to be something that's really kind of done, behind closed doors, under the table, whatever. I don't know, but they want to have it done by that early signing day. I still would assume, and I'm not positive, BJ, but I assume Dirk will coach through the bowl game.
He'll finish the season. Yeah, he'll finish the season. Yeah. Yeah, he'll coach the bowl game. He'll coach. It'd just be interesting if they actually do make appoint an OC. He said by that early signing day, right? Is that what he said? Yeah, I guess technically they could have a new OC before the bowl game, but that guy wouldn't come in and coach the bowl game or anything. Yeah, I'm sure he would. Yeah, I mean, technically, I see what you're saying, but I would be.
If it's an inside, I'm talking about if it's an inside guy.
If it's Matt Miller,
if it's a guy already in the pro.
Which, by the way, I did, because he said something about, he made sure to circle back and compliment the offensive staff and what they were doing when he talked about wanting to hire somebody. So I just took that as Matt Miller is going to be a prime candidate. Somebody else said Ryan Dinwiddie as well. So we'll see on that. But obviously 6 games to go, and we're going to talk Air Force here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you about Ridley's Family Markets. Check them out. ShopRidleys.com. 13 Idaho locations. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, the home delivery, all that great stuff. Find the location near you. ShopRidleys.com. Boise Dentistry Co. Full family dentistry. 906-1255 is the phone number. You can check them out online, boisedentistryco.com. The Rains family has made the switch. We're very happy with Dr. Chris Miner and his staff there. So check them out. BoiseDentistryCo.com, full family dentistry. So they can take care of your whole family and schedule the appointments kind of back to back and do it all in one swoop. So check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com. United Commercial Insurance, it's a national business insurance company that can help you anywhere, but they're based here in the Treasure Valley. They can write policies in 44 states around the country. Most commercial insurance companies can only do a couple states, but 44 states. So any of your workers' comp or liability insurance, help a local Treasure Valley company here. But if you're out of the state, you can they can help you as well. 229-8222. Check them out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. And Bauscher Real Estate, Matt Bauscher. The Matt Bauscher Show is returning to Bronco Nation News here in a couple of weeks. Number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. Make sure to check him out. No home is too big or too small for Matt Bauscher and his team, BauscherRealEstate.com. Now, before we get into Air Force, there is some, I don't know if you have access to the comments or not, but there's been a lot of comments coming in. Folks are worried, man. Folks are worried about Talon Green potentially bolting after the season. It's Keaton. Do you guys worry about Talon leaving when Koetter does? Get the best out of this year and go to a more stable situation. There's been some other people talking about that as well. I mean, I hate to say it, but with the NIL stuff, you just never know. James says, why would TG leave? That makes no sense. He owns the offense now. He's got 3 strong years ahead. Somebody asking if Dirk will remain as an analyst after the season. No, he's done after the season, I would believe. But man, Jay, that's the world we're in now with NIL. If Texas Tech or TCU or Texas or Baylor or somebody comes calling, you can never say never at this point. I mean, guys, that's what's going to be from here on out. I would say yes, Talon Green stays, but you do have to re-recruit your current players in addition to other players. That's just the way it's going to be for everybody. Same thing for an Ashton Genty or something like that. You know, guys come out of Texas and maybe get overlooked and they go to a school like Boise State and they become a star, and that big, Big 12, Pac-12 school goes, oh, man, we missed on that guy. Well, let's just offer him some NIL money and go bring him back. What do you make just about the NIL situation and how a guy like Talon Green could be impacted by that?
Well, BJ, it's against NCAA rules for a school to reach out to a current member of another team. We all know that.
Oh, that's a good point. I guess they're here to stay.
That's something that needs to be figured out in the NCAA, in my opinion. I mean,
yep.
I don't know. There's got to be
Big Ten commissioner or somebody today, maybe it was Big East or somebody saying they would be in favor of some national legislation for more uniformed policies and things like that. Because it was not intended to be used as a pay-for-play kind of recruiting thing, which is exactly what it is.
Exactly. And so it would be nice for a little bit of structure or some guidelines, and honestly some repercussions if you break those rules. Whatever in the current state, whatever. Anyways, I don't think that he's it
was a slap on the wrist.
Slap on the wrist. That's all it is these days.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I mean, I think that Talon's got to love the opportunity he's in right now. He's waited for this. He's thriving, and that's going to be up to Boise State to probably, to show him a future that is somewhat lucrative for him here. But let's also say this: it's been 2 games. So I don't know if I'm sure I'm not saying that he can't replicate the success or even get better, but it's just a cliche thing, I think, a topic or question to ask these days, just because I know it's such a controversial thing in college athletics right now, but it certainly seems like Talon enjoys his position. We don't exactly know because we haven't exactly talked to him yet. But I would just be that would surprise me if he's not here next year.
Yeah, credit to Jordan K for actually asking Andy Avalos during the press conference, when are we going to get to talk to Talon Green? I get it. Fans and probably the 76 watching right now are probably like, who cares? That's the media bitching again, all that kind of stuff. But it would be nice. It's easier to tell a kid's story, when you're able to talk to the kids. So it would be nice at some point here. I get what they're trying to do, but if you honestly think a 10-minute interview is going to take away from his prep for the Air Force game on Saturday, then you're a little short-sighted in my opinion. But I get it. It's working. They want to just keep things the way they're going. But hopefully at some point soon we do get to talk to Talon Green, because I think that putting his face on KTVB and here on this show and other outlets around town and kind of helping tell his story a little bit, I think is only good for him. when it comes to NIL and other things like that to make him a little more marketable in this town. So we'll see, but I don't see, it is what it is. I'm not overly I'm not overly surprised, but technically he is a second-year player. He played in games last year. I can see the Ashton Genty one. He's a true freshman. In the past, you wouldn't get to talk to him till the spring. I'm not really going to make a big deal about that one, but it would be nice at some point here soon if we can talk to Talon.
I mean, I'm sure you talked to Talon coming out of high school, right?
Yep, a couple times.
Yeah, he was a delight. He was a good interview. So that's definitely not the worry. It's just, I think they're just trying to control what they can control. If it's not broken, don't fix it sort of ordeal. And for now, that means that we don't get to talk with the starting quarterback.
Well, in the final couple of minutes here, we do have a game on Saturday. Boise State at Air Force, 5 o'clock, which, by the way, we got 5 o'clock for the Colorado State game. That'll be nice. I know you asked Andy about that, but 5 o'clock on Saturday down at the Air Force Academy. It's supposed to be a nice day there. Always love going down there with the parachute team, the running of the cadets, all the cool traditions they do at the Air Force Academy there. If it's if you're going to pick a road game every year to go to, that would not be a one to just blow over. You should think about going to that one. It's a pretty cool game, pretty cool trip, and it's going to be a tough game. Boise State a 4-point underdog, Jay, 4-4 in their last 8 games. Boise State is against the Academy. They're 2-2 in their last 4 games down at Air Force. They had the big Jack Sears game there a couple of years ago. Played really, really well in that one. But last year on the blue, man, Air Force getting their second win on the blue in the last decade. Last year comes to Boise and stuns the Broncos as part of that 3 straight home losses last year. But it's a big one for Boise State because if they win this one, I mean, they're still in the driver's seat even if they lose, because if they win the last 4 games, they'll win all the tiebreakers and still clinch the division.
Mm-hmm.
But if they beat Air Force, they allow themselves a slip up maybe at Wyoming or somewhere else and would still, could win the division with a loss after the Air Force game. So it's a big game for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, they don't put the division to bed, but man, they got the covers pulled up, nice comfy pillow, turn the thermostat up a little bit on a cold night. I mean, things would look pretty good for them in terms of their future and participating in the Mountain West Conference Championship game if they can get a win in Colorado Springs this week. And I will say this, at the very least, a win would damn near knock Air Force out of any chance. I mean, they would have to have a whole lot of luck in order to work their way back into the conversation. And when you look at what's left on the conference schedule, BJ, I mean, Colorado State, I'm still saying I don't know if Colorado State scores a point against Boise State's defense. Their offense has been terrible. They have had a running back start to emerge these last 2 weeks. I think like Boise State, they have started to identify what they can kind of lean on, but they're not very good. Nevada lost at Hawaii. Wyoming has had a nice win. They beat Air Force, but they've been a little up and down. I don't know if they exactly scare you. And then Utah State has been like all over the board. So there are a couple of unpredictable games left on the schedule, but I think everybody thought that Fresno State and San Diego State were going to be the 2 toughest games of conference play at the beginning of the year. It's big, man. It's a big game. It's a game where you have to play well in order to win, because if you play bad, you're going to allow Air Force to do what they do, and it's just going to be a long, difficult day at the office. And Boise State, there are only 2 teams in the entire country that have played less defensive snaps than Boise State. That's Ohio State and Ohio State and Minnesota. 2 very good defenses, 2 very good programs. Ohio State's been in the top 5 all year. Minnesota spent time in the top 25 for most of the season. If Boise State can continue that success, get off the field against Air Force's offense, I mean, I think it's that simple. You just can't allow Air Force's offense to stay on the field and slowly bleed you to death.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be a big game for Boise State, and this is always a very interesting game. And you throw in the fact now that you talk about, time of possession and things like that. Now that Boise State does like to switch to this more grounded out. I mean, I don't know if it'll quite be what we saw at the UTEP game where it was like 5 possessions in the first half, but possessions are definitely going to be at a premium in this game. So Dirk Koetter flat out said, like, you can't settle for 4 field goals in the red zone. Like, you have to score touchdowns.
Yep. And that's something that they've done really well. I mean, if you take away like the kneel downs at the end of last game, which I think is fair, I want to say Boise State scored on 8 of their 11 possessions. That's like 72.7%, I want to say. I mean, that is a high scoring rate. And a lot of those are winding up in touchdowns. And so I know that they probably didn't quite have the touchdown percentage they wanted against Fresno State, but Jonah Dalmas, the all underrated MVP of this Boise State football team for the last 2 years because of his consistency through his leg, it was well more than enough. And so it's going to be a great challenge. Boise State now with this new regime, Dirk, they're leaving the confines of Albertson Stadium. One could have argued that actually brought pressure because of the situation they were in, and the fans, they're right there letting them know what they thought. But now they have to go out on the road and kind of play in a different circumstance. So we'll see how Talon handles it. I know that he got to play in that opener against Oregon State. But now it just seems like a different circumstance, a different situation, and I'm excited to see how they respond.
Yeah, I mean, in the Oregon State game, you could argue the game was kind of already out of reach at that point, but he's going to come in with crowd noise, and as I said, a place that Boise State has, traditionally or at least statistically struggled some in the past. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on Saturday. Jay, we'll talk to you Friday. We'll have to figure out your travel schedule and my travel schedule and talk off air and either tape something or make something work on Friday. But appreciate your time, and we will catch up with you somehow on Friday. You're muted, Jay. You're muted, Jay.
I leave early Friday morning, so we might have to figure this out.
Yeah. All right.
I was just trying to go back real quick, BJ, because I wanted to say that playing in Boise State put up 17 in Corvallis, and that doesn't seem like a monster number, but you look at the other point totals. USC only scored 17 in Corvallis, and then I had to watch my Washington State Cougs really struggle in Corvallis this week. They only scored 10. So as it stands right now, Boise State's point total on a really bad off night with their backup quarterback leading the way. Still tied a season high for opponent point total at Reser Stadium.
I never like seeing the rematches, but man, I wouldn't mind another game against Oregon State if I think that it might come out a little differently. Although we have seen pretty much all the bowl projections right now. Your alma mater, the Cougs and Boise State down in the LA Bowl, which for me would be awesome because it's SoFi Stadium, and more importantly, it's December 17th. Which would be awesome to get it up.
I'm trying to hit the Hawks Thursday night game on the 15th. So
okay.
It could be a little interesting.
Well, if you got the Kirk Herbstreit jet, you just fly there and fly right back like he does for his kids' games when he goes to college game day.
I'll shoot him a direct message.
There you go. Hey, appreciate it, Jay.
All right, bud.
Take care. There he is, Jay Tust. Hey, don't forget, follow us on the YouTube channel, Bronco Nation News on YouTube. If you are watching us on YouTube right now, we would appreciate a click of the like button, a click of the subscribe button. We're over 1,500 YouTube subscribers now. We started at 0 about 10 months ago. We're now over 1,500 YouTube subscribers, and we are pushing forward. Would love to get to 2,000 by the end of basketball season if we can. So maybe football season. Let's see how quick we can get them. So just take a quick second, subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of our press conference video, all of our live shows, all of our content highlight packages and stuff gets put straight to YouTube. So you can watch the full Andy Avalos interview from yesterday, the full Dirk Koetter, the full Spencer Danielson, all the interviews you can watch right there on our Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. So please do that, and you will not be disappointed. That's a free service that we offer here at Bronco Nation News, and it is free because of our great sponsors. So I want to thank Transportation Compliance Service, transcompservice.com. Check them out if you're looking to get into the trucking industry, thinking about becoming a truck driver. If you're looking for a new job, it's a booming industry right now with the pandemic. Over 1,000 people a day are deciding to be truck drivers, and you can be one of them too. And I'm talking that big rig on your screen to the Amazon truck in your neighborhood that you see driving down the street. So all different kinds of possibilities, and transcompservice.com can help you with the permits and all the things you need every step of the way to get you out there towing that first load. The Blue and Orange store has all the Bronco gear for you, all the new Nike sideline apparel, the coaches gear, all the NIL shirts, all that great stuff. The Blue and Orange store, check them out, theblueandorange.com. You get a free order over $40, free shipping on any order over $40. That's right, free shipping any online order over $40 at theblueandorange.com. And if you're in the Boise area, you can just go to the Blue and Orange store there at the Boise Town Square Mall, the second floor right there by Pro Image, and check them out. Hey, Thursday, we're going to have Doc Haskell, the esports coach, on, and we're looking forward to that. A big announcement coming up on Thursday with Doc Haskell and the esports team, and a big supporter of theirs is Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. They're a big supporter of ours as well, so we appreciate them. Check them out. See why over half a billion, 500,000, so $500,000 I was never good at math. 500,000 Idahoans have made the switch to ICCU, and you should as well. Check them out, iccu.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, I'm so happy with my F-150. I bought my truck from them. Yes, I paid full price. I didn't get a free truck or get a discount. I paid full price, but I'm loving it. The process was so easy. I found my vehicle online, lithiafordboise.com, and then found the one I liked, went over and test drove it, and 3 hours later, I was driving out with it, so off the lot. So it's such an easy process. They do a great job over there, so check them out, lithiafordboise.com to view their inventory, or check them out right there, Lithia Ford Boise. And by the way, if you're not looking to buy a new vehicle from them, you think you found a better deal somewhere else, which I doubt, they'll still make you a cash offer on the spot and purchase your used vehicle. So go check them out. Head on over there, Lithia Ford Boise, right there in Boise on Fairview Avenue. I mentioned rowpaint.com earlier. Check them out as well for your concrete coating needs. And they got a special going on right now, 10% off the interior painting of your home in the wintertime. Perfect time to get that home painted, and they'll give you 10% off if you tell them you heard about it on Bronco Nation News. That's 10% off the interior home painting. They can do the exterior painting as well, the concrete coatings for your garage, your back patio, all that great stuff. So much great stuff. Just check them out. Power and People, Pride in Painting, rowpaint.com. And I mentioned earlier the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios, where we're broadcasting from. Appreciate their support and help as well. So we got some cool giveaways. I got a golf bag we'll be giving away, some other cool stuff here moving forward. So we appreciate Cutwater Canned Cocktails. Again, more than 30 flavors of pre-made mixed cocktails, premium cocktails. Love the Long Island iced tea. We'll be drinking those tomorrow night on BNN After Dark. Really looking forward to have Winston Venable and John Mallory back for BNN After Dark. We're going to try where Jarrell Root. We had some scheduling conflicts with Jarrell, but we think we're locked in with Jarrell Root for tomorrow night. And if you know Jarrell, he is hilarious and he is awesome, and it's going to be a great show tomorrow night. BNN After Dark. You got to be a subscriber of Bronco Nation News.com. So if you're a subscriber, you now have a tab on the website. Go to BroncoNationNews.com, click where it says live videos, and then scroll down. There's a BNN After Dark tab, and that now should have live, or not live, but it should have the YouTube player with all the videos from the previous editions of BNN After Dark. And then it'll have the link also for tomorrow's show, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. If you're not a subscriber, still time to jump in. And we ran out, but you know what? I'll get more. We ran out of the promo was so successful. The Blue and Orange store, $25 gift cards. I ran out of cards because it was so successful. But if you jump in this week, I will get you a $25 gift card to the Blue and Orange store. You can also have a free round of golf at Timberstone Golf Course as well. Appreciate Kelly and Tad and their crew. They do a tremendous job. I was out there last week, snuck in around at Timberstone, and it's a great spot. So Timberstone Golf Course, awesome spot in Caldwell. It's about 30 minutes from the Flying Y. It's not that bad of a drive at all. And get out there and play some golf before the weather gets down, and I'll give you a free round if you sign up for Bronco Nation News. A couple of comments coming in. Jordan says Corvallis is tough. The environment was awesome. Great point, Jay. Bring on Oregon State. Say we go to SoFi. That game would be amazing. The heck with LA. LA in December would be nice. And you know me, I'm looking at the basketball schedule too, trying to find no conflicts or whatever. So the 17th would interfere with I think they have a game. Oh no, that 17th would be okay. The problem will be the Mountain West Championship game. That's the day that Boise State basketball plays Texas A&M down in Fort Worth, Texas. So that could be an issue for myself, I guess, trying to get to both games. But a lot going on, and we appreciate everybody that continues to watch these shows and comments. Big Wade, Kay Foster, all you guys, the Morales brothers, all you guys, Josh Curran, Max Mason, appreciate all you guys. I'm missing a lot of you that comment every show and keep this thing rolling. We really appreciate it. Tell your friends. We'd love to have them jump on board and as well. And these YouTube live shows are free of charge, so hopefully you're enjoying that and sponsoring the supporting the sponsors, as they say, and helping make this possible. So anytime you use one of our sponsors, hopefully you're letting them know and thanking them for advertising with Bronco Nation News for making this show possible. So if any news breaks or anything, we'll jump on in today. Hoping that does not happen, but we're going to talk to Demario Warren, the cornerbacks coach, today. We're also going to talk to Caleb Biggers and I believe Tyler Crow and Caleb Biggers today. So we'll get those full videos up on the YouTube channel here this afternoon. And again, hopefully you're subscribing to that YouTube channel and you'll see those videos pop up and you can watch the interviews in their entirety. So appreciate everybody for checking us out. We got Winston Venable show tomorrow at 9 a.m. We got BNN After Dark tomorrow night at 8 for subscribers. Mike Prater on Thursday, Jay Tust on Friday, and then it's off to Air Force. We'll have the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show and postgame show live from the press box at Falcon Stadium there at the Air Force Academy on Saturday. Looking forward to that. So appreciate everybody for checking us out. Got playoff baseball on tonight. Have fun with that. And we're going to head down to Boise State and do some interviews with Coach Warren and some of the players, and we'll get that posted. I do have a new story up, by the way, BroncoNationNews.com, talking about the bye week and what Boise State accomplished, and now turning the page to the rest of the season here. Looks like Boise State, by the way, might be getting a little healthier. Ben Dooley, Kekani Holamia Gonzalez, some of these guys that have been out. It sounds like Andy Avalos saying they are very close to getting some guys back. So, man, getting Ben Dooley back could be huge at this point in the season. So we'll have to wait and see on Saturday on that. So have a great day. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. I hope you go support them, please, and thank them for sponsoring us. And if you're able to, hope you think about a subscription as well and help keep allowing us to do what we're doing here at Bronco Nation News. So have a great rest of your day. We'll be back 9 a.m. tomorrow with Winston Venable. We got some cool stuff coming to the website this afternoon as well, so make sure to check all that out, BroncoNationNews.com. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Thanks again. This is BJ Rains. We had Jay Tust on earlier. Appreciate him. And thanks to all of you for every day giving us a chance here. We're having a lot of fun. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.